Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armory. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to X as well. Big up to the 160 people already watching. Thank you very much for joining in. Very much for tuning in. We are here to do another Arsenal news. This will be the second part of this week, and then we'll have another two this coming week as well. That might be a bit tricky to fit in, obviously, because our first game is next Saturday, but I will try my utmost to do it. This show is called The Good, The Bad, and About Time. I'll explain why very shortly. Big up to Azariah. Hope you're doing well. Any news regarding a winger and a striker? I've always said, and I will stick with this, we will bring in a forward player. I can't be specific regarding exactly who, because the problem with this window is mainly at the beginning of the window, Europe, Premier League were all expecting £2 billion to be invested into the league by the Saudis. Now, I think they've played us very well here because all the Premier League teams were like, okay, this money's going to come in. We're going to sell this player, sell that player. That means we can get this player, this player, this player. So it hasn't come out like that. So we're all having to change our plans. So currently there's a lot of doors opening, a lot of doors closing. I'll get onto some of the doors closing shortly. But there will be, as the window opens more and more in the next 3 weeks, more doors will open. Prices will drop because the market value for a lot of players currently is slowly going down. They're not going up, they're going down. So there's a lot still to happen at the moment. I guarantee we get at least 2 players after Marino. I think we can get 4 if we're sensible and are brave. I'll get onto that because that is a talking point in a bit. So yeah, there's just so much happening at the moment, and I think even Arsenal, we kind of know what we're trying to do, but the opportunity has to be there. You can't just go, oh, I want this person. They go to the club. Oh, he's not for sale. Oh, all right. So you got to kind of do multiple things to try and make sure that you are prepared for any eventuality. So that is what we're doing. We've done it since day one of the window opening. We've got multiple things going on. Hopefully we get things over the line. We are very determined to do one signing at a time. So this, when I say signing, so obviously the agreement's already there for quite a while. But once we are trying to do the structure, we are fully focused on that one. And then we move on to the next one. So whilst Marino is being structured at the moment, nothing else is happening. There is a little bit of, are you still interested yet? Okay, cool. We'll call you back on whatever day. So it's a case of being really patient. And I know that's really frustrating as football fans because obviously we start next weekend. But this is I've always we've either got to stop the transfer window the day before the season, or we just do what we used to do many years ago. There is no transfer window. You just sign whenever you need them. So it's a very frustrating one. I know, but honestly, be patient. Edu's words today were spot on. That is exactly what is going on. Hopefully by the end of the window, you will all be happy because there's still a lot to happen at the moment. Any news on outgoings? Eddie, it should be announced fairly soon. Nelson, for me, doesn't want to be at Arsenal. I'm sure he's going to try and what he does want, he wants a permanent move. But currently there's no avenues for that. We'll get into this deeper in a minute because obviously it's a talking point tonight. But and I get it because he wants his life sorted. He wants to know where he's going to be for the next few years. Clearly it's not going to be at Arsenal. So he wants a permanent move. So clearly, but there's no avenues at the moment. That could change. I still think this one might actually go down to the final day, which will actually be annoying for us because, again, I'll get onto this a little bit deeper in a minute, but we can't sign unless we sell. So, and that's got nothing to do with money. It's just squad space. Big up to Chris again. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, I did cover the Arsenal Lyon game earlier as well. So big up to you, mate, for joining me for that. Is it true about Eddie taking a pay cut? He's taken a small pay cut. I wouldn't say it's a huge one. Just basically, it's to help with the finance of the deal. So basically, what Marseille were willing to, they're now going to save on the wages. So technically, they can still offer that money because they'll be saving in other areas. So it is a small, it's not massive. I don't know why they're making a big deal out of the pay cut, but he's still going to be a top earner at Marseille. So yeah, it's a weird one. That's what Richard Hughes is doing, is waiting on opportunities. Exactly. The window, there's so much that could happen. Nico Williams, well, I'll get on to him in a minute. I'm hoping I've said the right one. Please, Tim, I've said the right one. Which worried that I'm going to say the wrong one. Arsenal needs to be patient on Marino, just like us with Subimendi. Exactly. Good jobs, Gunas, today. Yeah, it was a good result. Well, first half was great. The second half was a bit boring, if I'm honest. Exactly. We aren't skint either. It's squad space for us too. Exactly. You've only got a 25-man squad. That's all you've got. You've got 25 men. Nwaneri for us and Lewis Skelly do not count. Setford doesn't count for us either because he's in the youth part, so he's under 21, so he doesn't actually count. Reece staying on maybe Hammers or Leicester still. I can't see Hammers because I can't see West Ham. Sorry, West Ham fans. I can't see West Ham doing it because obviously they've got Somerville. Crystal Palace possible. Wolves possible. Leicester can't afford him. I don't see any avenues right now. Yes, I saw today after the game, and Aaron Ramsdale went straight down the tunnel after the game. We'll get on to Mr. Aaron Ramsdale. Zariah, I would like to know what has delayed the signing of Marino. Thought we would wrap it up as soon as ESR leaves. Right, so that's a perfect time to Azariah. So I'm just going to get straight into this one because that is literally the first talking point. So Marino is a gooner. There is nothing that's going to stop this from happening, right? But the way that we're trying to finish off the window is we need as much money as humanly possible. It's kind of giving you a clue here to do what we need to do. So we need the structure right. So we're protecting ourselves from PSR. That's the main thing. We've got a lot of money. We're not poor. We're not struggling for money, but to do the deal that we're trying to do, we need a lot of money. So to do that, we have to get the structure right so we can afford it and we don't fall foul of FFP. That's the way we're trying to do it. So with Calafiori, we do exactly the same. But the other problem with Marino, and it's again, surprise, surprise, very similar to Calafiori, is there is a sell-on clause. I think it's a 2% sell-on clause. Now, with these sell-on clauses, they are being negotiated. It's ridiculous because it's literally 2%. But it gives a headache for the lawyers that have to deal with all the paperwork for the transfers. So it is a bit of a headache. Structures are very hard to do, and they have to be watertight. But this week, I'm hoping we'll see him in an Arsenal shirt by Friday. That's what I'm hoping. I can't see anything that's stopping that. I was hoping today, but unfortunately, it just didn't go through quick enough. But this week, there has to be it. Nothing's going to stop the transfer from happening. That's for definite. So yeah, Wolves got money for Neto, so can see Nelson there. They have already signed, going to sign a young Ajax player. It's a strange one because I would have personally would have thought going for Nelson would make more sense. I think this lad from Ajax is like 20. So yeah, big ups to Silver One. God, I'm going to move on from that tone. Any news on Andegra? Look, as I said, and I know that G has put it out there on his X as well. He is someone that we have looked at, but he definitely is not in the top 5 of forwards that we've looked at. If we were to end up going for him, it does mean that we have failed on at least 5-6 targets, which is not good, if I'm honest, if we end up going for him. He's good because I like him. I watched him at Union St. Louis, but he's just, he doesn't exactly excite me too much compared to the other ones that we're looking at. It's 2024 and Nat Phillips is still at Liverpool, and every time he plays for us, he ends up getting head bandaged during the game. Nat Phillips. I heard this week that Nat Phillips was meant to be going somewhere. I swear I heard it this week. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look it up because I'm pretty sure I heard he was going. Big up to the 600 people currently watching. So that's Marino. So that one's that covered. On to the bad news now. Osherman won't be a gunner. Now, this is timeline, clip me, whatever time this is, 12 minutes past 7 on Sunday, the 11th of August. I'm saying this. Right now, he's not going to be a gooner. There is no way financially it makes sense. Now, Arsenal are not going to pay out an absolute fortune on someone that is a risk. Now, by say a risk, there is so much financial needed for this signing that it's just such a gamble. Now, the only way we would ever be interested is if that price dropped drastically, the wage structure was dropped drastically as well, because it is extremely high and we just can't afford it, because it just doesn't it doesn't fit in within the project. Now, that is the big, I wouldn't say a problem, but it's basically what Josh is making sure we stick to, is the project. The project is important for the future of Arsenal Football Club, as in the way that we are managed, the way that we can continuously challenging for the title. This, the only way we can do it is by doing it this way. So right now, he's definitely not going to be a gooner. I kind of expect him to go to PSG, if not Chelsea, anyway. Chelsea are just mental, and PSG, they're trying to get Kolo Muani out to replace him. So, so that's what I would say there. So right now, as in this time, he is not going to be a gooner. Things might change. There's 20 days left. Things might change, but right now, he's definitely not going to be a gooner. Right, so let's get into some comments because I don't want to go too far. And yes, I like João Pedro as well. Yeah. Big up to DB saying who's ahead of Andegra. Well, I can say a couple of names. I can say Neto was. I can say that Nico Williams was. I'll get onto Nico in a minute. But there definitely are better players ahead of Andegra. Chelsea has 46 players, if I'm correct, yet they seem not to be bothered about any foul play in our case. What is really there to be bothered about, since our squad isn't even up to 30? Well, our squad, you can only register 25 players. 25 players. Now, they've signed a lot of youngsters, so that means they can put those in under the youth part of it. But also, Chelsea will be selling a lot as well in the final weeks of the window. So, yeah, there's still a lot happening at Chelsea, and they still haven't actually finished signing yet either. Love it how Bobby goes about good news, then bad news. Yeah, well, it's the best way of doing it, mate. Usually I'd panic because all those deals are not getting done before season start. Given the circumstances this year, I'm a little calmer. No one has really made massive moves yet. No, it's a very weird season when it comes to transfer windows, and everyone's quite chill about it. I do expect us to be busy up until deadline day. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a deadline day signing, to be honest, which I'm quite happy about. Then there's Chelsea who think they're in the NFL building a 60-man squad. Like I said, they will be selling some players. Big up to Dave R. saying hello, Bobby. Great content as usual. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate it. It's like me when I say Mercedes will be back at top in 2026. Bobby smiles. Then I say Verstappen will be there. Throws boo. Yes, it is. Watching from New York City. Big up to Dave. Big up to New York City as well. Jokeres, I can't rule him out still. Is that the best answer I can give you, mate? I can't rule out Jokeres. I've always said Osimhen to PSG till cows come home. I still think that is one of the most likely destinations. However, they do need to sell Colin Mwani. So until that happens, they can't get Osimhen in. Big up to Mohamed Sakaraya saying Leroy Sané. He is someone to keep an eye on up until the last day because he hasn't totally decided what he wants to do at Bayern. So, yeah, there's a lot still happening there. Yes, I can't believe Chelsea are getting rid of Ben Chilwell. Madness, isn't it? It seems to me Arteta might give Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly. Yes. The good thing about those two is they don't have to come into 25-man squad. So they can be used anyway, same as Setford. So he can be used as a third goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper, whatever we decide with him. They don't have to come into 25-man squad. They have to be over 21 to go into that 25-man squad. So we're happy about that. So yeah, awesome stuff. Big up to Tom Snack. Anything about the Swedish guy? I'm gonna guess you're on about Jokeres. The thing is, and I have to be honest, Isaac is still of great interest to Arsenal. I can't deny that. So we are looking at both. I think that's probably the best way I could put it. I could see Leroy Sané being a last resort move. He would not be a last resort. That much I can tell you because Arteta very keen on Sané, very keen, and he does exactly what we need him to do. So yeah, Plymouth lost 4-0 for the masterclass already. Oh jeez, you meant to be cheering me up. You know Plymouth will won my teams. Big up to the 800 people currently watching. Thank you ever so much. Right, let's move on to the next one. This is going to be a quick one. Nico Williams won't be a gooner. He should be announcing within the next few hours that he will be joining Barcelona. I don't know how they're going to do it, if I'm honest. But yes, he will be. Should be well. I'm going to say you should be joining Barcelona, whether or not it's this window or the future window. But yes, we will sign either of Isaac or Victor this window. I can't rule it out. I can't tell you exactly who we're going for because currently we just need to get the players out. They're still here. We can't do anything without these players leaving. That's the problem. If we can't get Eddie out, which I'm 100% sure he will be leaving, we can't get anyone in. That's the problem that we're having. So Sané is the mystery German. Well, like I said, Chris, on previous streams, there are 3 Germans that we were looking at. One of them was the mystery German. I'm not going to tell you anything about that yet. Is there any truth that we are interested to go from Madrid? Oh, okay. Now, this is possibly to do with Rodrigo. There is... I spoke to someone the other day about this. Now, Real Madrid do need to sell one of their forward line players, whoever it may be. Because Endrick and Mbappe have come in, one of the front line has to go. Now, out of them, I can only see Rodrigo being the one that is going to go. And then when he's leaving, you can only see him going into a couple of teams that can afford him, us being one of them. PSG being one. City have already ruled that out. But, you know, City, they're sneaky, so you never know. But, yeah, Rodrigo is a possibility to leave. Real Madrid have been extremely quiet so far. Obviously, they've got Mbappe. But other than that, they've not done much. I expect them to do quite a lot in the last few weeks. Any news on Kingsley Coman? Kingsley Coman obviously is up for a move. From what I've heard, he's meant to be going to Saudi Arabia. Unless he can be tempted by the Premier League, but good luck trying to outbid on a Saudi league with the wages that they offer. If Nico goes Barcelona, I'd take Ferran Torres, ideal backup for Bukayo. Totally agree. Big up to Temi. What do you make of Martinelli's performance today? He has been poor recently. I thought he was all right, to be fair. I know his first. He does need to improve on his first touch. I agree with this. He is a very rough diamond, isn't he? I love him to bits. Everyone knows how much I love Martinelli. He could have done better on a few occasions today. Yeah. It wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't fantastic for many of most of our players. I felt today were playing a proper friendly instead of, compared it to Leverkusen, polar opposites. I thought some were great today. Some were just a little bit off it. What I would say about Martinelli, Saka, Rice, Jesus, they have not had a full pre-season. So, Jesus? Oh, no, Jesus, I don't know. Has Jesus had a full pre-season? I can't remember if he went to Brazil or not. No, it's all right. I know who you want. British Bolt is watching. Didn't like what I saw from Martinez. Why does he keep looking down at his age in football? I know, it's crazy. His performance. Will we go for another midfielder? Yes, Dave R. I believe another midfielder is big possibility, other than Marino. I honestly do think there could be a surprise midfielder coming in. Diaz staying another season with us after Williams' deal. He didn't go to Brazil. Okay. So, yeah. But Martinelli did. I'm pretty sure he did. But Jesus has looked good, to be fair, in all fairness. But Martinelli, I think we just got to, I don't know. I don't know how long we're going to keep him, if I'm honest. If we kind of get the right type of winger, I think it would make sense to cash in on Martinelli at some point quite soon as well. Whilst he's got a lot of market value, would make an absolute fortune on him. It would make sense to maybe move him on. What about Guedes? No mention of it, mate. I'll be honest. But I like what you're saying. But we need at least a CM striker and a winger to solve the gap. We do, but I wouldn't say that Arsenal are definitely in the same mindset as that. So, yeah, just because whoever leaves doesn't mean they're going to be directly replaced. So, yeah, I kind of do expect another midfielder in there other than Marino. It wouldn't surprise me. Just keep Declan on corners, 100%. His delivery is amazing. Bring in Rodrigo, I'll take him. I'd have to look up his salary, if I'm honest, because I don't know how much he's on. So bear with me while I quickly find out his salary, because I don't really remember how much that guy is on. Because you've got to be really careful that you don't bloat your salary as well, because don't forget that next year is why is that not moving? Come on, move over. Let's just trap it in. You've got to make sure that you do not bloat for next season's new financial rules, which would be dangerous. Oh, crikey, that's a lot. Yeah. So his base is just over 200,000 a week. You'd probably have to put him on something similar to what Havertz is on, which is about 280. So, yeah, I'm not sure it makes total sense, if I'm honest. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. I can see Luke. Yeah. Arteta mentioned Timber is expected to join the squad next week. Is there any possibility? Yes, he will be joining up with our squad, but I don't expect to see him for at least a game or two before we see anything about him. I said about cashing in on Martinelli about 18 months ago. Luke's valuations don't just include players' value. I'm not sold on Rodrigo. Nico Hova, great job again. Yes, thankfully, we also fought off Bayern Munich for trying to nick him. Galiba says, Moss, you did look, it doesn't sound crazy anymore. I heard some noise about Mudryk. What do you think of that, Bobby? I'm up for it. I'll be honest. I'm totally up for it. I have no issues with signing Mudryk at all, as long as the price is right. Which I know is a Bruce Forsyth game. But I'd have no issues with Mudryk at all. I'm not of this mindset where I don't want to sign players from Chelsea. It means nothing. I basically think you actually improve them once you take him out of Chelsea. So Mudryk would probably suit us, 100% silver one. What about the Brazilian wonder kid? Any news on that? As I said on the previous show, that all came from them. We have got a £30 million budget for our youth, but all that noise came from Internacional in Brazil, not us. We have looked at him and we do like the kid, but there's nothing more than that at the moment. Yeah. Dear God, no, don't want Mudryk anywhere near my club, says Tebby. Tebby's definitely not a fan. Right, how can we still sign 4 players? So quickly about this one. Obviously, Ramsdale is very likely to leave. Kivior, very likely to leave at the moment. Juventus are meant to be coming in with a bid this week. As long as it's a loan with an obligation to buy, Kivior will leave. Nelson and Nketiah. So that frees up 4 spots. So that means goalkeeper to replace Ramsdale. Kivior, it will be some form of defender. I think they're slightly more tempted with a fullback. And then we've got Nelson and Nketiah. So Nketiah will bring in a forward player. And I do mean forward, so I'm not being specific with it will just be a winger or a striker. It will be someone that can do multiple things. And then we're going to talk about midfielder. I kind of do expect a midfielder. But what I would not be surprised if we still get a striker as well, a specific striker. So there's a lot that could still happen. There's a lot. No one's really that clued in exactly what's going to happen because we haven't got the players out. And the longer it takes us to get the players out, the harder it's going to be to bring someone in. So yeah, it's just be patient. Edu has put it out there, and definitely listen to Edu because Edu is spot on. Hopefully by the end of the window, you'll all be happy because the whole point of these structures that we're building is important because it gives us a large amount of money that we might need for a specific target or two. But if the Eddie saga could drag it on to the last day, then how would we manage to get new signings in? Eddie will be finished this week. That will be done. I expect in the next couple of days, if I'm honest. But yeah, that will be done. Eddie will be definitely leaving. Nelson is the worry for me. Nelson could be a problem because he will be taking up a slot. So yeah, Nelson will be the big problem. Ramsdale will go. Kivior will go. I'm sure of it. As long as Juventus come in with a sensible offer, Kivior will go, and then we'll buy a fullback to replace him. If we don't buy a fullback, then that will open up a different opportunity somewhere else in the squad. So that's where we could be a little bit varied with Kivior going. So yeah, this is why I'm going to be doing 2 shows a week because it is going to become more clear as we go along. Thank you, mate. 100% Eddie is leaving because he didn't play today. 100%. Please smash the like button. Please do subscribe as well. Really would appreciate it. We've got over 1,000 people watching right now, so thank you ever so much for tuning in. Right, let's move on to the next one. Any other news? I think I've kind of covered it all by talking about other slides. I do apologise. But I go with what the questions are. So I've probably covered the other news now. So there we go. I've also covered this, but I'll quickly cover it again. So Juventus incoming for Kivior. So basically with Tobido going to West Ham, that has had a knock-on effect with Kivior. Tom Snack, you've come in at the perfect time with that question. Do you think Juve? I do believe that Juventus will come in for Kivior. So yeah, I do expect that to happen. Big up to Oliver's asking any signings for Arsenal women. I do think that we will sign, for me, at least two more right now. One on, yeah, no worries. We're on multiple streams at the moment. We're on 2 different YouTubes. We're on X as well. We've got over 1,000 watching right now, so please do hit a like and subscribe on the Full Time Sports Network and on the Armory TV on YouTube. It will help us out immensely. Thank you very much. Right, so we'll move. Ramsdale will leave before the window shuts. I think he could actually leave within the next 10 days. I think this will be quite quick at some point. Now, Wolves have obviously just sold Neto. They're replacing him with a young Ajax winger, not costing a lot. Jose Sarr, if he was to leave Wolves, number 1 target for Wolves is Ramsdale. Southampton are looking at Ramsdale. Bazunu is out till next year, I believe. So there's another option there. Ramsdale's going to be gone. I think it can be done within 10 days because Ramsdale's head's gone already. He'd probably take a packet of crisps and a cheese and ham sandwich right now for wages. So he would quite happily leave and quickly. So this one I expect to be done quite quickly. Then you will see a very quick signing regarding goalkeeper. Yeah. A lot of people could, do TikTok and Facebook. Yeah, I don't do Facebook, mate. TikTok, yeah, there's a TikTok option as well. I've not really done that. I've tried to do TikTok, but it gets really confusing. And yeah, Miss Melina. I'm guessing you enjoyed the wages one, mate. And I've said au revoir, Nketiah. I think it will be wrapped up fairly soon for Nketiah. As I said earlier in the show, I do apologise that I've done slides and I've talked about it already. It all depends on what happens because currently Southampton are leading the race because Bazunu's out for a good few months, I think. And if Jose Sarr does leave Wolves, then Wolves will want him as number 1. Southampton's a difficult one because he would have to be a loan and probably with an option to buy. I don't think it'd be an obligation either. I think it'd be an option, which I don't particularly like because Bazunu is a very good goalkeeper, to be fair. So I was hoping that was au revoir. No, it's definitely au revoir for Nketiah. Nelson to leave this window if the right offer comes in. It kind of self-explains. And I said Nelson's head's gone. You could see it going round when he was doing the applause for the fans. You can see his head's gone. He doesn't want to be there. But yeah, it's a shame. This one I feel this is one player I feel that if we played him more, I honestly do think that he could do something. He's the only one, if I'm honest. I think he fits the system. He's got that little something special sometimes. You just don't know what he's going to do, and I enjoy that about a winger. But yeah, we'll wait and see with Nelson. What's Moss saying here? Arsenal, Canada. I'm jumping around Marseille again. All I would say, Moss, is be prepared for Jonathan David. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared. I wonder if De Jong of Barcelona is available. He is available. He has been offered to a couple of clubs, so bear that in mind. Canadian French content. Well done, Bobby. The last act of Club Hero, Eddie. If he brings us money, I'll stop calling Sunoco. Big up to JJ. Hope you do well. Right, I'll leave you two to it. Any other news? Not really. I think I've pretty much covered it. The same situation with Partey is the same. If an offer comes in that is hard for us to turn down, we will accept it and we will move on. there is midfielder targets that are gettable. Now, they're not big names, I will be honest. They're a 22, 23-year-old profile. They're at clubs that a bit very similar to Kivior. So, like how Kivior was quite a surprise to a lot of people, we've got a few of those in the target barrel that if we need to, we will go and pick up one of those. So yeah, it's something to bear that in mind if that does happen. Looked much better today. He did, but like I said, the likelihood that he's not going to sign a new contract because he's not going to reduce the amount of money he's getting. We would if the money's there, Moss, we're going to take it. It's as simple as that. If the right money's there, we're not going to take a pound. It's only one game, Chris. 45 to go. Results happen. Where JD Glad's bodies went. All I would say, Moss, I'm sorry to say this, but Tottenham are trying to get 2 forwards, not 1. That's all I'm going to say. So from last season onwards, they were all freak results. Right, quickly going to go into this final part. Right, I need to bring this up because I need to go through this because I'll be honest, this bit's not just for you, it's actually for me as well. I have not looked into this yet because I find it very confusing. Right, so I'm going to read this through as I go through. Right, so this season's Champions League group stage will feel very different from the format we have become accustomed to in the previous 19 seasons we take part. With the competition expanding, the traditional 8 groups of 4 teams aren't fit for purpose, and so a new format has been created with a single league of all competing teams. That also means that the draw is also going to look very different when it takes place in Monaco on Friday, August the 30th. Here is how it all going to work. Right, so to admit more clubs into the competition, UEFA have created a 36-team league phase where all teams compete against each other in a single table. Clubs will play 8 matches in the new league phase, 8 against different teams, split evenly between home and away games. The top 8 sides will qualify automatically for the round of 16. The teams finishing 9th to 24th place will compete in the 2-legged playoff to secure their path to the last 16, whilst those that finish 25th or lower will be eliminated from all European competitions, so they will not drop into the Europa. What happens before the Champions League takes place? Teams will be ranked into 4 seeding pots depending on their UEFA coefficients ranking, and as has been the case for many years, with 9 in each pot. Each team will face 2 opponents from each of the pots, playing 1 match from each pot at home and 1 away. In the league phase, teams cannot face opponents from their country and can be drawn against a maximum of 2 sides from any other country. UEFA say that to use the same manual draw system we all used to, nearly 1,000 balls in over 36 ball would be required and take up to 4 hours due to the additional complexity. Therefore, they're adopting a computerized approach to help speed things up. Starting with pot A, each team will be manually selected from a bowl and then allocated 8 fixtures by the computer, which will also state which will be at home and away. These will then be shown on screen at the venue and on TV. Then the teams in pot B will have their remaining 6 fixtures allocated, and so on until each team has been assigned their 8 opponents. UEFA insists that their computer systems are robust and audited by a third party, to ensure fairness. Yeah, we'll see about that. Even though the teams will know all, even M's responded to that. By the end of the draw, the fixture list will match dates and fixture kickoff times will be confirmed afterwards and announced on Saturday, August the 31st, to ensure there are no calendar clashes with teams in the other European competitions playing in the same cities. Will there be a draw for the Champions League knockout stages? There will be, but only minor ones. The teams that finish in the top 8 of the league will be seeded in the round of 16 and face one of the playoff round winners. However, they'll be ranked in terms of their finishing positions and put into a bracket so each team can see their potential route to the final right from the outset of the knockout phase. Therefore, the only draws needed will be to determine which side of the bracket teams will be on. One at the end of the league phase at the end of January and one another at the end of February for the round of 62. Now, if everyone's understood that, I do hope you have, because honestly, what a confusing pile of poop that is. I'll be honest. I'm going to clip this Champions League and post. Honestly, mate, it is not confusing. No, it's not at all. I'd scrap the Champions League conference. Just go back to the old computer. I just want a cup competition. Just do it how the FA Cup. Just shove them in a bowl. Unbelievable. Think format helps a little. I don't think it does. I don't think anyone's going to understand it. They'll all have nightmares. You will need a PhD to understand the new Euro this season. Well, you won't, because you're not in it. I couldn't help myself, mate. Even more games. It's mad, isn't it? 5 here. Wow, nice. Now enjoy your draft time, mate. No, I didn't, Bobby. It's mad, isn't it? It's so confusing. Absolutely confusing. Anyway, I will be back. I think I'm going to do it Tuesday. Yeah, I might just do a show just to Love you, Dermo. Big up to the 1,200 watching now. Thank you ever so much. I will be back Tuesday, hopefully with a little bit more information. We should have some good quality information by then. Obviously, what will happen always around games is the focus on the game. So in the next 48 hours, I expect quite a lot happening. So yeah, Dermot and JJ in the same chat. It's great, isn't it? Spuds No Champions didn't want it. Right, I'm off before we all start World War 3 in the comments. Guys, I'm out of here. Take care. See you Tuesday. Bye-bye.